Hi and welcome back for another Tool Time Tuesday. This is Melissa Muir. Today I thought I'd really quickly just show you how I make a few of the head pins that I use in some of my jewelry. In this case, these are all 20 gauge. I have done, I have cut 3-inch pieces. And really quickly, let's just jump right through them. The first head pin and it's a very simple one to make. So the first head pin that I do, I just take my hammer and I just hammer a little flat spot, and then we have a paddle. What I would do with this is just take my file and clean that up a little bit, and then you have your head pin. It's great for stopping smaller beads. Alright, next one that I do is a very simple one where I basically just fold the wire over on itself. Again, this is very good for small beads or anytime I have to have, take a wire through someplace really small that needs to be stopped. It's a very simple one to do. I just take my flat nose pliers and the end of my wire and just a very little end of it, not too much. And what I'm going to do is bend my wire around so that I've created kind of like a little hook, and then I'll use my pliers, and sometimes this is easier said than done, particularly when on film. I'm going to use my pliers to just close that hook back up. Let me see if I can get this closed a little bit more. There we go. And then just pinch it over onto itself. So hopefully you can see that one okay. The next one that I like to do is based off of the starting point of the last one I showed you. And this is a very tight little spiral. And you can make these pretty small. You can also make them pretty large. And again, what I'm going to do is, in this case, I'm not going to use the flat nose pliers, but rather my round nose pliers. And I'm going to come in the very tip of my wire, and I'm going to create a small loop. Okay, once I've got this loop, again I'm going to take my flat nose pliers. See if I can get this to zoom in on this, or at least focus in on this. And I'm going to collapse, and again, easier said than done when on film, I'm going to collapse the loop. There we go. And then once I've collapsed this loop, I'm going to place the loop inside of my flat nose pliers, but having the end stick up a little bit. And I'm going to just kind of work the wire around so that it comes in and lays down next to the rest of the loop. And then I will just continue to work that to get a spiral. And once I get to where the top of my spiral is going to be, and I want to then have the head pin come up, I want it to be more centered. So what I do then is I will hold the spiral, use my thumb and my thumbnail, place a bend, and there's my spiral head pin. The next one is a fun one that I learned when I was very first getting started in jewelry, and it's just putting a little tiny flower head at the end of the head pin. And the way that this is done, you place your wire at the very tip of your round nose pliers, and you're going to create a little loop like so. Let it come around and touch itself. Then I'm going to place my pliers like so. So I have the loop, and I'm just holding just on the outside of that loop, and again I'm going to twist it or wrap it around. So now I've got 2 petals, and I'm now going to place my pliers over here, again up against the loop, and once more I'm going to wrap this around my pliers, until it comes up and through the middle. With this one, I typically will take my flat nose pliers and give a little squeeze, straighten it up with my fingers if I need to, but there's my little flower head pin. The last one I'm going to show you is a pretty simple one. Again, I'm going to use my round nose pliers. Move that block out of the way. I'm going to put it into the tip of my round nose pliers once again. And I'm actually going to wrap down the tip of my pliers, or the pliers nose or bail or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and I'm going to do it kind of loose. So what I'm doing is basically creating kind of a coil or a spring. Okay, so there's the coil and spring now. If I can get that back into focus for you. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is bring my pliers, and I hold on to the last coil. So I'm just going to bring my pliers in, hold on to this last coil that was made, and I'm going to bring my wire up straight so that again I'm left with a head pin. So those are 5 very quick and simple head pins that you can use in your jewelry designs as well.